Hi, welcome back to my channel, and this is a sound off on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay, so before we really get into this episode, let me just say this, Greg. Okay, it looks like to me that before they started filming season 7 of Real Housewives of Potomac, somebody tapped the 4 OGs on their shoulder and was like, "Look, nah, it's real cute. Y'all made it to season 7, 4 OGs. It's never happened on any other franchise before. So kudos to y'all. But unless y'all do something spectacular, y'all not all coming back season 8." And that's very much what it's giving so far, because the stuff that they have been doing is just, it's real desperate. It's giving very much desperate. It's giving very much y'all doing the most. And we're not sure if we're coming back, so we're going to give it everything we got. That's what it's giving. I don't know. So the episode opens up with everybody doing their little whatever. I don't care nothing about that. So we just gonna jump right to Giselle and Robin. They look like they're at Robin's house and they're having themselves a little production meeting about their podcast on their live show. And they ain't really saying nothing that I care about, but Giselle does bring up the fact that Robin and Wendy had somewhat of reconciliation when she wasn't around at the club. And Robin, you really going outside. Robin sitting up there like, Wendy, she act like she wasn't feeling it. Like she wasn't hugging Wendy back. And it's just like, I'm ashamed, Robin. I'm ashamed. You look like a duck. You look like a duck. Why you can't just tell Giselle, girl, yes, we was in the club. We were all in our emotions. We were drinking and she apologized and I accepted the apology. Like, we made up. Why you can't tell her y'all made up? Why you gotta be fake? I guess. Anyways, Robin does let Giselle know that she has intentions on meeting up with Candace because they got into a little screaming match over her Bluetooth speaker shenanigans. And Giselle is like hyping her up. She can't be upset about that. She can't be upset about that. And they don't like when Candace goes on Instagram Live and tell people the truth. They don't like that. Robin, Giselle, Ashley, they're very basic. You know, they lack wit. They don't have much of a personality. If the producers are not spoon feeding them what they should say, they have nothing to give. So they have never liked the fact that Candace goes on social media and engages with her audience and engages with her supporters. They don't like that. They don't have the ability to do the same. They just don't. They need to plan every single thing. That is the reason why when you see Giselle at reunions, she chokes. When you see her at Watch What Happened Live, she chokes. If it's not pre-planned, if she can't talk to someone else and they tell her, girl, this is what you gonna say, she chokes. So she has always had an issue with Candace going on social media and engaging with her supporters. Y'all don't have to be mad at that forever, because that is a part of what gets people to watch the show. Like, that goes along with the show. Nobody's fault, Giselle, that you don't have a personality. The only personality you have is being messy. You can't get on social media and interact with your supporters, because then they'll find out that there's no substance behind that pretty face. Okay, so we get the scene with Candace and Robin meeting up. And, you know, grief is a really complex situation. So I do want to be sensitive to Robin and how she feels about the situation, but it really feels like she kind of used this moment to kind of wiggle herself out of accountability. And I ain't really feeling that. I don't really know how close she is to the lady and her friend. And you really don't even have to be close, right? Because you can witness, you can witness something happen and it gives you perspective. Like, I know that firsthand, right? But it's just kind of like, Robin, you intentionally did something mean to Candace, and instead of just owning it and saying, girl, yes, I was mad at you, so I decided to be petty and throw you to the wolves, just say that. But she's trying to make it seem like, oh my God, I'm so sad. Like, I get that she's sad. I do believe that the tears are real because, like, literally, I know. If anybody knows, I know how quickly life can change. Trust me. But at the same time, Robin, you've been really terrible. You've been really terrible these last few weeks. And where is the accountability? Where is the apologies? Like, where is it? So I've seen a lot of people saying on social media that they never realized that Robin and Candace had this big sister, little sister bond. I guess because they're my faves on the show, I've seen it. Like, yeah, Candace wears that girl's hats all the time. Giselle, who's supposed to be her bestie, her ride or die, I ain't never seen, and she needs a hat more than anybody. I don't ever see her wearing Robin's hats. She be along for the foolishness, but she really don't support Robin like that, if it don't have nothing to do with her. So I don't know. But Candace always bigs up those hats. I ain't never seen nobody else wear them. So I mean, that right there, Robin be going 10 toes behind Candace's music career. She let her sing at her engagement party. Like, they support each other. I've always noticed the friendship. In season 3, when Candace came on the scene, Robin was like the only person that didn't begrudge Candace for having come from privilege. She was always saying, I came from the same type of life. So I understand Candace. I come from the same upbringing. She always said that. So, I mean, but you know, a lot of people only started paying attention after season 5. So maybe that might be part of it as well. And let's be real, the earlier seasons weren't that popping. That season 3 though, that season 3 was popping. Because that's what made me continue watching the show. I mean, let's just tell the truth, right? But yeah, like I was saying, Robin is full of shit for saying, oh, Candace, you should have been more specific. I don't like that you are questioning my loyalty because I've stood up against Giselle with this whole Chris thing. And at first glance, yes. At first glance, yes, you stood up to Giselle against the Chris thing, but then you're also the person that has been taking it around the group. Giselle spoke to you about it on camera, and she spoke to Karen about it on camera. And then she spoke to Candace about it on camera. You spoke to Candace. You spoke to Giselle. You spoke to Mia. You spoke to Juan about it. You've been the one carrying it around. So at this point, after everything that we have seen thus far, I no longer believe that you were defending Candace. It's like, we're not stupid here. Y'all don't put too much effort into y'all plots. So it's very obvious what happened. Y'all literally just refurbished the storyline from last season. How last season Giselle was like, oh, I'm going to mention the Eddie cheating rumors, but I'm going to maintain that I don't think it's true. That's the same shit y'all doing this season. Whereas Giselle, Ashley, and Mia are saying, oh, Chris is doing this, Chris is doing that. And then Robin, you get to be the good cop and say, oh, I don't think so. He's not that way. He's not that way. You were maintaining that Chris was innocent up until the winery trip. Then you started wavering. Then you started saying other stuff. Then you start saying, oh, he be on social media just like Candace. No, Robin, you're not being loyal. That's not being loyal. Being loyal would have been, Giselle, stop that. We're not going to use this storyline. That would have been loyal. Being loyal would have been like calling Candace up and saying, Candace, girl, this is what they trying to do. But girl, they coming for y'all. That would have been loyal. You felt a way when Candace said none of these bitches are loyal. You felt that. You caught that. You caught that shade because it applied to you. Because you feel guilty about the type of friend that you have been to Candace. You really thought that you were being a good friend to Candace. When Candace said you hoes was unloyal, that wouldn't have stung you. It stung you because you know that you are guilty of some shit. So don't try to flip it around now talking about something. I've been a good friend to you. It's not even about being a good friend. You are a mother of 2 young men. Would you want somebody to do to your sons what Giselle and Ashley and Mia are trying to do to Chris? Would you like that? Would you not want someone to stand up and say, no, Corey and Carter would never? So don't be like, oh, that doesn't make you a good friend. That just makes you a decent human being. Like, why would you go along with some bullshit if you know it's some bullshit? Like, Robin, girl, you tried it. The things that Candace was saying on Instagram is the same shit that she been saying. She says it to you guys. She says it at the reunions. She says it in y'all company. She says it all the time. For you to take that as a personal attack, it's because you know you're guilty. Okay, so we get this scene with Ashley and Uncle Lump and his wife, and I don't remember her name, but shout out to her because she didn't really do nothing to me. I ain't got no beef with her, but shout out to her, you know. And they're talking about how Michael took Dean, but he didn't want Dylan. And I promise I just don't care about these people. I don't care about them. And I know if you like Ashley, no shade to y'all, but I just don't really care about Ashley. I just don't. And I really don't care about her tears. I don't care about her emotions. I just don't care. Like, I know this sounds really, really bad. I don't mean to be a jerk, but I just don't care. She's upset though because she's saying she never realized, like, oh my God, it's really gonna be her alone. And see, this is what I have to call bullshit because, like I said, I don't necessarily believe that this divorce is real. But let's just say that it is real and you guys are gonna be moving separately. Is this the real reason why you couldn't? I just don't believe her story because we already caught you in a lie, right? You said you were buying a house through an LLC and then we find out that there was no LLC established, even though you told us you made several offers through the LLC, but there's no LLC established. So I just can't really believe nothing Ashley has to say as far as this whole thing goes. But you know, it is what it is. But I did find it interesting that she said, oh my God, I'm going to be alone. I'm really going to be on my own with these kids. And it was just like, Ashley, girl, do I even care? I don't really care. Good, whatever, Ashley. Like, good luck to you. I just don't even want to really get into it. It's just a little funny to me how this is the same woman that was making fun of Candace and calling her a little girl and saying that she wasn't a grown woman because she still lived in a house that was purchased by her mother. But you're afraid to live alone with your children. But you're a grown woman, girl. You've been taking care of these children alone. Like, that man don't take care of them kids. Like, anyways, child, that's all I got. That's all I got for Ashley. Next. Okay, I don't want to be a shady bitch, but whatever. I'll be the shady bitch today. Giselle is throwing her daughters a sweet 16 birthday party. And you know, excuse the hell out of me because when the way they have been talking about the sweet 16 birthday party, the way Giselle says it, I was thinking it was gonna be, y'all know what I was thinking. I was thinking it was gonna be like MTV, My Super Sweet 16 birthday party, where you know they have this huge packed venue, all the kids from the school, and you got a celebrity performing, and then you have matching Range Rovers or something. I was expecting over the top. I was expecting opulence. I was expecting, like, you know, something massive. I was expecting, you remember Tiana Taylor when we first met her at her sweet 16 birthday party? That's what I was expecting. I was expecting a performance from somebody, you know, like somebody. It wasn't that. That's not what it was. It was cute. It was not a bad situation. It was a nice little dinner and it was decorated nicely. It looked beautiful. It really did. But I was expecting something more grand. I was. And it's just a little funny how Giselle has been going around saying all the other girls are broke, calling Candace broke, calling Wendy broke, but this is the best you could do. I mean, the way that she was hyping it up, talking about this is checked and checked and checked, and we got this coming on, and we got the photo wall, and we got the flower wall, and we got the cake table, and we got this, and we got that. And I thought this was going to be this huge, grand party, but it wasn't that. But, you know, happy birthday to Angel and Adore. You know, this is no shade to them. This is absolutely no shade to them because it did look nice. I just thought the way that she was talking it up, I thought it was going to be, you know, big, like, you know, grand. And it just wasn't that. Well, you know, Giselle never gave us grand. So excuse the hell out of me. Excuse me for my incorrect way of thinking. That's my fault. That's my fault for having this idea. Okay, so Candace is celebrating getting her MBA. Shout out to my girl. Okay, she got 2 degrees. Okay, and they're having a nice little party at the house. I remember when this happened because, of course, social media or whatever, and we saw that this was also the time that her sister Crystal had purchased her home. So they were celebrating that. So of course, Miss Dot is in the house. She's in town to come celebrate her girls. And while they're setting up for the party, they go outside to the backyard and they have a little visitor. And it was a Mr. S. I don't do those. I don't even like to say the word. But they had one of them in the backyard. And then Miss Dottie was like, Candace, I thought you said Giselle wasn't coming, but look, she's here. And when I was watching this Sunday, I was not feeling well. But when I tell you that lifted my spirits, I was cracking up. I was cracking up. I was like, Miss Dottie, now you know you ain't have to say that. And then, of course, the Bravo people, they ain't no good. They gonna put Giselle little picture in her name or whatever. I don't know what you call that. But they put her there next to the Mr. S. And it was just like, did they lie? They didn't. Okay, so all the girls are at the, at the celebration. Well, not all the girls. Bigfoot and Ankles, they couldn't make it, okay? And the representative, she also was not invited. But, the girls that matter, they all came. Robin is there. Karen is there. Sharice is there. Wendy is there. And Uncle Ray Ray is there. So the people that matter, they're there. Karen decides to ask Robin, what's going on with this wedding? What's happening? And Robin is like fanning herself and she's like getting hot. And it's just like, Robin, either you enjoy them making this a thing. At this point, I have to hope that you just kind of like the fact that people always asking you, because girl, I would be so embarrassed. Like, why y'all keep asking me? I don't know. I used to feel bad for Robin, but I don't think she feels bad. I think she's okay with y'all asking because at least y'all asking about her. I don't know. But she lets them know that it's going to be a very small, very private situation. It's only going to be her kids and her man. And to be very honest, up until now, I really thought that this wedding was going to happen. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if Robin really wants to get married at this point. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, moving on to Robin and Wendy. So Wendy's like checking in, like, girl, we talked about it over in the club the other day. We was both drunk, but I just wanted to reiterate that I feel the same way that I said that I felt that night. And Robin's attitude, I'm not here for it. Because Robin, you were the one who were wrong to Wendy. You're not innocent in this shit. But Robin is acting like, well, why did you want to have the conversation away from the group, but you didn't want to have it where there's an audience? What that sounds like to me? That sounds like you're saying, why didn't you let us have a moment in front of people? Why did you have to have a private moment? Either way it goes, it wasn't private because we saw it. And I just feel like there's no argument here. Like, what is your argument, Robin? Either you want to move forward with Wendy or you don't want to move forward with Wendy. It's giving very much you are looking for a moment in every situation. You're just looking for something. But like I said before, I believe wholeheartedly that production tapped y'all on y'all shoulders and said, one of y'all ain't coming back. And for the first time in 7 seasons, I think Robin is worried about her job. I think when she first came on the show, she didn't really care. She was just like, oh, this is something to do, right? Because they didn't even know they were going to be housewives. And now it's like, oh, bitch, I've gotten used to this check. I've gotten used to these zeros. I don't want to lose my job. And we see her frustration because I wouldn't want to give up my little nice Bravo check either. But Robin, you got to do better than this. This is not the way. You look crazy. So Candace pulls Karen aside, and she's like, girl, okay, so you know that situation that happened in Miami where Ashley said I was talking about you, and I was like, girl, I did not say that. She lying. Well, it turns out that I did say these things, but not in the way that she said I said it. But girl, I was being messy. I'm sorry. And Karen is like, okay, I can receive that. You're owning your shit, because I thought we were in a good place. And y'all saw the shit, and I just feel like kudos to Candace, because although people like to drag her good name, Candace really is not the messy. She's not the messy one on the show. She's not the one that goes around starting shit. But my thing is, I was like, I appreciated Candace pulling her to the side and having this conversation on camera and saying, girl, I fucked up. I'm sorry. And in this little conversation, Karen asked the right question. So was Ashley talking shit too? Yes, she was talking shit. But of course, when she was at the table in Miami, she ain't bring that part up. We know that's how Ashley moves. And Karen knows how Ashley moves. And to be very honest, I really don't think Karen really was that upset, because this is something that they've been saying since season 3, Karen. Since season 2. They've been saying this. I really don't think Karen was that upset. I do think it hurt her feelings that it came from Candace. But I don't think Karen cared that much. Because she's still with her man. What's Ashley's relationship looking like? What's Robin's relationship looking like? Giselle, Charisse. I don't think Karen cared that much. I just don't. Okay, so while Karen and Candace are having their auntie and niece little moment, Ray decides to pull Chris aside, and he was like, yeah, so Karen was saying that Giselle may not be here. And then Chris tried to be cute and was like, yeah, her and Candace aren't really getting along. And Uncle Ray was like, no, I heard it was because of you and her had an issue. And see, I'm not gonna rehash what happened because y'all saw it, you know? But this is how I feel. I feel like Uncle Ray should mind his business. What it looked like to me, now I wasn't there, I don't know, but what it looked like to me is the 4 OGs of Potomac went into season 7 knowing that Chris and Candace were going to be the target. Which is also why I don't think Karen was all that upset with Candace, because she knows what they was really planning behind Candace's back. But I think that the 4 OGs of Potomac went into season 7 knowing that Candace and Chris would be the target. I think they knew that. I think from last season, when they played Karen's little game of which other housewife would you rather, and Chris and Candace both said Giselle, I feel like a seed was planted. I feel like when Mia said that Chris tossed her salad, a seed was planted. I feel like when they were in the car, when they were on the cash trip, the couples trip, and G was talking about Chris's brown peen and saying it wasn't brown, it was pink. And Giselle was like, oh my God, covering her face, even though she was not a part of the conversation. I feel like a seed was planted. When Chris spoke to Ashley in the kitchen and says, I still follow you on IG, and I think motherhood looks good on you. Congratulations to you. I feel like this storyline of season 7, Attack Chris, was born. Okay, all of that shit came. They decided to put that shit in a bowl and mix it up and see what you get. And this is what they get, right? A lot of us who love Candace, that support Candace, we've been telling you via Instagram, via Twitter, you and Chris are too forgiving. Y'all are too fucking friendly. And this is what it is. I think that Ray telling Chris that he should apologize to Giselle is malarkey. I feel as though Karen told Ray, why don't you talk to Chris and get him to apologize? Because what they were expecting was they gonna say that Chris might be Chris might have some wandering eyes, and Chris might be interested in Ashley because, you know, she's so beautiful, she's so irresistible, and so is Giselle, and so is Bigfoot Mia, and that Candace would be insecure and blow her top and be arguing with them, arguing with her husband. They thought Candace was gonna turn into a Chucky doll, and Candace was like, I know the man that I married. I'm securing our shit. Now, if he ever does some shit, okay. But this right here, what y'all trying to put on my husband, that's not the man that I married. So I'm going to have my man's back 10 toes down. They weren't expecting Candace to do that. They were not expecting Candace to have that reaction. They were expecting Candace to go off and lose her mind. And see, when they didn't get that reaction, now they have to recalibrate their story. They got to figure things out because they were really expecting Candace to have such a reaction that nobody goes through Giselle's story with a fine-tooth comb. They weren't expecting that. They were expecting all the focus to be on Candace and ultimately have Candace and Ashley duke it out. Giselle wasn't supposed to be the person that everybody is calling a damn clown, even though she's a clown. That wasn't supposed to happen. What was supposed to happen was Candace act so much of fool that they all sit at the reunion and be like, oh my gosh, Candace, you're just so immature. Oh my gosh, Candace, you need to grow up. You shouldn't be acting like this. They really thought that they could play with Candace, and Candace is not giving them what they're looking for. And now they're stuck. So now I feel like Karen has to come in, get Ray, because people respect Ray. People love Ray. How can you not? And say, Ray, talk to him and tell him to apologize. The same way that Robin was trying to get Juan to tell Chris that he should apologize. And Chris should not fucking apologize. Why would you apologize for something like that? And also, I don't think that Ray knows the nitty gritty. He don't know all the other things that they are putting onto the story. He don't know that Giselle is calling this man a sneaky link and saying that he tried to lure her to the bedroom and saying that she have had many married men try her. I don't think Uncle Ray knows all of that. I think they're just going with the initial statement of he made me feel uncomfortable. And if you made someone feel uncomfortable, you should apologize. I think that's what they're going with. But again, like I said, I don't think Chris should apologize for shit because this is some bull. This is some bull. And at the end of the day, it could come back to haunt you. So you got to be very careful with this kind of stuff. Giselle, you overplayed your card. If you wanted to say the man was flirty and you don't appreciate it, that's fine. If you wanted to say he made you uncomfortable by asking to go talk to you in the room, okay. But all that extra that you put on it is BS. And like I said before, and I'm always going to say, Giselle is full of shit. Giselle went on Carlos King, and that's where she really solidified that she was full of shit. For me, is she's saying to Carlos, if Candace had just let it go, this would have been gone. We wouldn't even be talking about this on the show. If someone made you feel uncomfortable, you want them to let it go, or you want your feelings to be addressed? You want to feel whole again. Don't you want something to come out of it? Why would you want it to all go away? Why did you even bring it up if you want it to all go away? Because you're full of shit. So the producers asked Candace and Chris, like, you know, why don't y'all just take the high road and apologize? And Candace is like, why would we do that? So that she can turn around and say that something else happened. You're right. You're very right, Candace. When you're right, you're right. Because that's exactly what she's going to do. Believe me, this is not over. Next season, she's going to come with some more bullshit. It's not over. You got it right. You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what Giselle is going to do. She's looking for any opportunity to clear her name in this situation, even though she started all this nonsense. She started all of it. Now, I have done my very best. I've done my very best to keep my theory off of YouTube. If you follow me on Twitter, and if you be on spaces with me and my friends on Twitter, then you already heard this theory, but I'm gonna tell y'all today. Y'all gonna get this theory today, okay? I personally think that Giselle has a crush on Chris. A little harmless crush. Like, I ain't saying she's trying to steal nobody's husband. I'm not saying that, but I definitely think she has a little bit of a crush on Chris. I feel like it's apparent. We've seen it since season 4, where they were at the haunted house and she was all up on him and rubbing on him. And Candace, girl, I took your husband for today. Candace has even said that Giselle flirts with Chris all the time in front of her. I think it's, y'all done all like somebody you ain't supposed to like. You even confused by it, because I don't think Chris is Giselle's type, but I definitely think she has a crush on him. And I think that if anything makes her uncomfortable, it's her feelings that, why do I feel this way about this man that I ain't supposed to like? I don't even like guys that look like him. I think she's hot and bothered by this white man, and she ain't supposed to like him, because that ain't what she normally go for. And with him being in the hotel room with her, honestly, I don't even know if I believe she felt uncomfortable that day. The thing about it is, he cleared you on that reunion stage. Like, he cleared you twice, I believe. He cleared you. And you want us to believe that after he cleared you, he went back to the room and said, hey, Giselle, can we talk? And he was like, yeah, I'm unhappy in my marriage. And, you know, like, make it make some sense here. I think what Chris did was he cleared you. He kind of felt bad for clearing you, especially when he got upset at the way y'all was coming for Candace on that stage. And you took the time out to be like, hey, are you upset? He probably felt bad because everybody knows that you got to kiss Giselle's ass if you're going to be on this show. And so he went back to the room to kind of smooth things over so that you do not be an ass pain to Candace. And you thought he was going to drop some tea. And when he didn't drop no tea on Candace, well, now you had to use something. You had to pull something out of your ass. So now you're going to go with, he makes me uncomfortable. He makes you uncomfortable, but at the spring fling party, you jump up out of your seat to embrace him. And it wasn't like a church hug from the side. You embraced him and then you rubbed your hands down his shoulders and down his back. Bitch, we saw you. And you want us to believe that he makes you uncomfortable? I'm not hugging. No, I don't even hug people like that. I was blessed in this region. So I really don't even hug people. Most people get a church hug from me as is. Even if I do like you, you get a church hug. I don't just give you all of this. You know what I mean? But you gave him a warm embrace and then you rubbed his shoulders and as your hands glided down this man's shoulders and his back. And you wanted to know, oh, do you want a drink? We got this and we got that. You weren't even the host of the party. And you did all of this. And you want us to believe that this man makes you uncomfortable. You got to stand in your shit this time, Giselle. It's nonsense. And I don't think that Chris should have to apologize. I don't think that Chris should have to apologize to ankles. I don't think so. I'm sorry. We know men, y'all be doing some things. But this time, I got to side with the man. We got to side with the man this time. I'm sorry. I'm siding with Chris. I'm siding with Chris. I don't think Chris did nothing to Giselle. I think Giselle is full of shit. That's what I think. I think Giselle is full of shit. I have been in many situations. I might not look like Giselle, but baby, I've been in situations where men have made me uncomfortable. And I was talking about this with my bestie the other day. And I would never want to hug him. Any of these guys that have done something weird, I would not want to hug them. There's nothing that would make me hug you. I barely want to shake your hand. I barely want to give you a fist bump. I barely want to give you an elbow. I damn sure don't want to hug you if you made me uncomfortable. So I'm sorry, Giselle, you're full of shit. You're full of shit and we don't believe you. I'm so sorry. But this is nonsense. I think Giselle went too far. I think Giselle always goes too far. I think Giselle really needs to come up with a storyline of her own. That's why we're going to see her jumping into Jacqueline and Mia's business next time around. But it's just like, you did too much, Giselle. You did too much. That man don't want you. I think you want him. I do. I think she wants Chris. I don't think she would actually go with Chris, but I do think that something inside of her likes Chris. I think the fact that Candace can stand 10 toes down and say, my man didn't do that to you, it bothers her. Because Jamal never allowed her to do that. She could never do that when she was with Jamal. If they said Jamal was messing with the lady, I'm pretty sure she had to just believe that it's what she had to believe it. I believe every time that someone came to her with an accusation about Jamal, she had to believe it. She couldn't stand by her man and say, no, my man didn't do that. Because she knew her husband was trash. She knew what her husband was doing. And the fact that Candace can say, no, not my man. The fact that Wendy can say, no, not my man. She don't like that. She don't like that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say. Chris, don't you apologize. Chris, don't apologize. Chris, don't apologize. Giselle made that shit up. When Giselle can explain why she would hug Chris, even though he makes her uncomfortable because he sends her happy birthday on Instagram, then we can start to have a real conversation. But until then, girl, bye. But anyways, please like, comment, and share my video, Thanks for watching.